My name is Mariana Huerta. I'm the policy coordinator with Restaurant Opportunity Center of LA. And Restaurant Opportunity Center of LA, or ROC LA, is a nonprofit restaurant worker organization that is dedicated to improving the wages and working conditions for restaurant workers in Los Angeles and throughout the US. The work that we do is around 3 project areas. We do organizing to improve the conditions through direct action and legal action against employers that are not complying with labor laws, basic labor laws and human rights standards. We also do policy advocacy and research so that we could learn more about the industry, learn about the workers' conditions and treatment, and find solutions through policy advocacy. One of the policy work that we do is paid sick days. We want to get access to paid sick days off for workers who are preparing and serving our food in restaurants. The other piece is that we work with good restaurants. We know there are good restaurants out there that provide decent wages, benefits, and good conditions for workers. So we want to partner with them so that they could provide guidance to other restaurant owners that want to follow the law and even go above the law and provide good jobs in the community. We support both kitchen, back of the house workers, but also front of the house workers, so servers, bussers, barbacks, bartenders, because the conditions are equally bad in some cases. So we want to make sure that whether you earn tips or not, you are in a good restaurant where your employer treats you fairly, gives you good benefits. And I understand that a lot of us think that it's mostly dishwashers and back of the house workers that are most mistreated, but it's happening a lot to the bussers and the runners and servers as well. We think that when we leave a tip for the folks that are serving us, that they're going to take that tip home, when in some cases employers are breaking the law by keeping part of the tip. Yes, we've seen that almost half of restaurant workers in Los Angeles are immigrants, and many of them are undocumented. So they are a very vulnerable population, and employers do take advantage and mistreat them and intimidate them because of their legal status here in the US. So we do a lot of education. We reach out a lot to these workers to educate them that they do have rights regardless of their status, regardless of their position in the restaurant. And employers also need to be educated on the fact that regardless of anybody's status in working here, that they have to be paid a minimum wage. They have to also comply with overtime and wage and hour labor laws. So it is important that workers understand their rights, and we do extensive outreach to these workers to make sure that they are aware and not mistreated or taken advantage of. We're currently engaged in a campaign against a really high-profile restaurant company, Darden Restaurant Group, which owns the Olive Garden, Red Lobster, and Capitol Grill Steakhouse. And there are many problems in this restaurant, including discrimination against workers who are immigrants, who are Latino and African American, very little access to the tipped highest paid positions in the front of the house in these restaurants. So we've been doing a campaign with public protests in front of the restaurant, and we're seeing that the company is starting to change their practices. They haven't fully committed to making all the changes that their employees are demanding, but they are starting to see the problems and start making some corrections. In addition, we've educated over 500 restaurant workers on their rights, and now many of them are speaking up in their own workplace and are taking action against them by filing claims with state agencies and federal agencies that enforce labor laws. We hear a lot about food justice and cage-free animals and sustainable produce. We want to bring the perspective of the workers who are actually producing, serving, cooking your food, because we can't have food justice and sustainable food without sustainable working conditions and sustainable work environments that are just and equal for all workers, regardless of race, regardless of gender and status. So it's important that the perspective of workers' rights, it comes into the conversation and the dialogue for food justice.